Okay, it starts.
Is Alex Zula, they're only two, and of course Lance Armstrong, but he has always said he wouldn't come.
He's always been very much against the World Championships in the latter part of the season, and it really does restrict, Phil, the number of places in the world where they can hold the World Championships.
Running a little bit behind, but that's okay.
Towards the end of October, we really will face wintry conditions.
Hardly seems a year ago in Verona when Oscar Freire, the Spanish man who started on the
way
front
behind on
there,
these fitness at the moment anyway.
the world champion. It was a surprise, but since then he's notched 9 wins, so he's a well-known rider.
So just
on that occasion he beat Marcus de Berg and Jean-Cyril Robin of
the
will by tradition start slowly and build up, and the survivors, they'll fight out the race to the
as well.
On a course like this, I would expect this race to get blown to pieces towards the end, because this is a very difficult course. Although only 14 kilometres around, it really is the repetitive nature of these slopes on the climbs
in
here.
72nd place at the moment, so
and as always, we can expect the big rivalries to come between France and Italy.
3 minutes behind.
Just listen to the crowd here. This is a wonderful area. They're cycling mad. It's a fabulous
that's okay.
championship. How much nicer would
We're going to a bit of a push.
There's everybody here today has got their Wellington boots on and their overcoats, while the riders themselves have got foot warmers. As you can see, long sleeves, and some of them starting as the rider on the left there in long fingered gloves as well.
The Spaniards will really be looking to be a dominant team in the early part of this event, because although Oscar Frere's win was somewhat of a surprise, he's come up with the goods this year and confirmed that he is a top professional cyclist, and I would think, Bill, we will see him being a major challenger again.
Briton flag waving proudly. This is their course, and many of the people here are coming to watch all of the top cyclists fight out the world title here. They come every year to watch the top riders ride in the Grand Prix and enjoy the spectacle, but I suggest in warmer conditions. But even so, best bike riders now before them as they head out towards the big circuit. Now these pictures are taken to start earlier today. We're now going to pick up the action. The breakaway of 9 has got away at 60 kilometres on the 4th circuit. The Polish team are chasing. We are approaching 10 laps to go.
Okay, now's the time to do a bit of work.
So this is the Polish team who have driven this race forward for a number of laps. I'm not too sure of their tactics, because they must have great confidence in one member of the squad to drive it like this, and the other rider behind them.
And try and capture as many people as possible.
Sometimes, as we've seen the Polish squad at the World Championships, quite so dedicated as this, to do all of the work on the front of the main field. These guys have been in the saddle now for over 3 hours of bike racing, and I tell you one thing, the speed that has been run at so far has been, of course, some pretty serious breaks in the main field in the last 2 hours.
Well, there's the gap as the clock will stop.
Shoes have come undone. It's good, wasn't it?
They drive on, the count on the right, it's 10 laps still to go on this course. It's very typical of speed racing, allowing the breakaway to run and then start to drive it down. And a big bunch quite happy at the moment, and that is here, the danger here. This speeding station is in a rather bad and precarious place. Slightly downhill, but we'll have to stumble here pretty quickly. And, you know, during the racing this week, they've had 1 or 2 problems, and they're having it with the pros today.
It's always a dangerous point, because the helpers come further and further into the road, actually causing an actual alleyway, and that's why we do get these accidents.
The old order of Penny Cardi, is up there with you to ride, and you find many of the professionals today to climb on the back of that. You need a lamppost first of all, and then you approach it from the back while it's totally on the road. Once you're up there, people know how you do it.
Huge organisational job to be done here by the organising body here at Blue for the combination really of their week festival of cycling, and this is the World Professional Road Racing Championships. They call it the Elite Championships nowadays, but this is really the ultimate. These are the best men in the world, and this is part of the course room, which is very difficult indeed. The thing about the course here around Blue is there's nowhere to rest and recuperate. It's hard on all of the time.
Let's have a look at these 9 men. They've got to run up the 4th lap, but it's the fastest lap time so far. 18 minutes and 9 seconds, and that was 47 kilometres an hour. That went Ben Tolkien, Ben Wilkin, the Expo, Rochap, Don, Otto, and Shelby Luca, all up there off the field. And now here on lap 10, and the time for the last lap was just over 19 minutes, so that was a very quick lap.
Very rapid lap indeed. But the strange thing I've always found about the professional road race, Bill, is it starts very slowly
crowd all the way around the circuit. Just take a look at the side of the road. People have been counting for them out of the way to the fence, I think. But even so, they stayed stuck to the guns and enjoyed some excellent World Championship racing here. As we look down now at just off Moho across, we're fetching with a man in the middle, give them an easier ride, but later perhaps because their big name still racing to fire at the rear of the field. This is Jorge Ruscha. This rider, he also has got his big team behind him.
I'm struggling to catch up to the group ahead. Need to get a bit of drafting.
Years of age, he's one of those puppy riders who knows what his talent is and is prepared to show it to the world.
Certainly is a great bike rider. He was hoping to ride well at the Olympic road race as well, but he was put into second position, really looking after his teammates Michele Bartoli and Paolo Bettini. They were the ones who were doing that. You can see the crowd absolutely magnificent. Who were absolutely magnificent, and it's really not since then that we've seen a dominant Polish team at the World Championships.
Absolutely right. The days of the old Iron Curtain has gone now, thank heavens. These riders are now free to be professional cyclists as well. They syncopated the game rather here by the lady of the Poles, and I can call it right. When the one thing we wanted to be the world champion by the end of the day, right 110. So he has made them chase him down. And they take him to professional riding and they're allowing the Poles, they know they've got a plan of course, but they're allowing them to do that as well as they can. It is coming down, but it's coming down quick enough. It's 4 minutes 18 the last time check with them.
This is the very technical part of the course. Having come through the start-finish line, you then head out on the large circuit, 14 kilometres around. And this part of the course, you can see near the back of the main field, is very difficult indeed, because there's already acceleration and deceleration into these corners. And that's why we have a world championship level is so easy to ride in the first 20-25 places.
As far as there is a down, now it's something like back up to the builders now, at the end of that start-finish down at the game. Massive crowd cheering them on, hoping to keep warm as much as anything else as they continue to set the pace. This is Eladio Jimenez sitting at the back as we've gone back to the main field. The Kazakhstan riders are in that sort of turquoise colour with the yellow flower on it. And we'll get a time check of the riders come through. But still the Poles are not being interfered with here, enjoying their pacemaking. I think that's the word.
See how difficult it is at the back of the main field there. Those guys are really hammering to try and stay in contact with the wheel in front of them. But it is a pretty good combination at the front of the race at the moment with Eladio Jimenez of Spain being in there. A major revelation in this year's Tour of Spain. And I'm sure there will be a lot of fights about during the winter months because certain teams are ones that has a current contract with those squads. Certain teams are already making noises that they would like to bring them across the street and that's what we see.
Now saying all 9 teams to go. to the back now. So let's continue. Well, although our Scenic minutes ago did say 4 minutes, we're going to check now 3:30. So this chase is working. It's bringing it down to very manual performance. 19.5 minutes, a very consistent lap. Remember when the race went, they shot up and just over 18 minutes, but the regulated now is around 19, 1940. leave out and the rear tackle.
Well, Tappy, whether or not he's won a lot of races this year, is always a man to be counted on for the team. He's always the kind of rider who will work beautifully as a domestic. And surprisingly enough, they have let him out. And he'll probably be watching this at home now, very happy, thinking, if I'd have been there, I would be ripping this race to pieces right now.
Back at the beginning was that Jimenez at the back of the race, but was, he's not back of the race now. Marichal is trying to back. There's two Spanish riders in this league. To keep the running over the field behind, and either will be expected to world champion by the end of the day. Out of the back squad, just the pace here at the front. Continuing to shout.
Pushing around in there is another kid. He's fairly young, 7 years of age. These riders now feel really hard, realising that the chase is on behind as Marichal leads them up to the end of the lap. Second place, that is Brock. Christophe Moreau is feeling quite happy about this race situation. And looking at Daniel DeLuca there in the Italian jersey, he doesn't actually seem to be flying all of that well at the moment. He's actually having a hard time staying on the wheel of the man in front of him. So we may well see a lot of change in tactics later on. If the Italians get wind that in fact then Daniel DeLuca is not riding too well, I think they will come to the front as well and start to chase.
I think this is attack time here. They've decided these 9 riders are getting a little bit cumbersome. They know the Polish train is reducing it, and they're trying to split the field here as they come up this very nasty drag. It'll get worse too as the race goes on, because that is Roger Beauchamp who has gone on the train, and Gerd Funk is tagged on, but there's a few missing now.
It really has split the field. Marichal really put the hammer down, and that has reduced the number of riders. And I think that is not going to be a great move for them, because we've now seen the 2 Spanish riders there being left behind. The other French rider who was in that break earlier on, Benetto, he has now been slumped to the rear as Christophe Moreau decides to come forward now and accelerate on the slope of this climb. All of the French riders must be on a serious high here today, because they are racing on a circuit which in the month of August sees around about 250,000 spectators witnessing the Grand Prix of Blue. 5 riders now leading the race from behind. The riders from Poland really are doing an excellent job, and they're slowly but surely eating into the advantage of this breakaway.
Surprise to Marichal trying to split the field. He's not a rider of great note, because he was attacking it. The tools on his belt, he did the last 2 editions, and he's both of them rather lowly, but nonetheless, he leads the Tour de France with a tremendous achievement.
Two Spaniards have been caught here. One is Nadia Jimenez, the other is Rafael Diaz-Bispo. Another rider caught up in that split with the Russian rider Sergei say that Daniel DeLuca looked under pressure. He's still in this leading group of 5, so that will take the pressure off his tackle squad behind. Walter Benetto, by the way, the second group on the road there in the prize, was a certainly below, not too far away from the Filipino as the Tour of Chevrolet. It was always the great big revenge match after the World Championship for a World Championship from now in August. So that was a big win for him. And he too was a rider from not very far away from here, from Nantes. He was a member of John René's Revendeau's Vendée Youth development squad.
Looking back now, 101, Mate from looking good.
So I stand up in a minute. They can't see how many riders there are on route. I think a few people have left. So that's the 6 or an 8. Increase. What's that? 68 or 88, is it not? What do you tell?
Moving the title back into the end of the soccer season, which will be over in September, where of course they've always went. I think it's fair enough now because it's always been a very successful move from April to September. The race in its own right now is much more interesting than it was, and so I think the change is real.
Just got one other line right in there. Absolutely superbly in the Tour de France, finishing 4th overall. Just losing out in the final time trial for the first 2 members.
Well, what's the clock? 7 laps to go. These 5 riders must now be feeling the Polish cold air coming up from behind. These are the 4 that was dropped from that group of 9. Remember, they went away on the 4th circuit. They're now 7th again with 19. And they know they're resigned to the fate now. Shortly, they'll be the first to see the Polish boys closing down.
These guys now will know that fairly shortly they will feel the breath of the Polish squad on their backs. The Poles are doing a magnificent job on the front of the main field, trying to pull this race back together. And the fact that that leading group now is split into 2 groups of 5 and 4, I think we will see the whole race coming back together. But it's going to be a long, hard chase by the Poles. This group now is just out, just inside 1 minute in arrears of the leading group of 5.
More or less giving up now. Once they're dropping, no point in continuing on. Then we'll just ride down to the peloton, pick you up to see if they're getting those days back into the danger zone. This is the bench with all the backs hanging out. But it looks like tomorrow. Yes, we've got one. He's having a fortunate season this year. He's had 2 crashes very early on. Obviously tomorrow, broke his skull on the first one, then cracked his skull in the second. But at least he put himself back in the field.
4 riders here, the 2 Spaniards on the front there. Justo and Jimenez taking his state victory in the Vuelta a España. Certainly regarded by many as one of the great Spanish companies in the future. Huge turnaround in Spanish cycling. A few years ago, one wouldn't have expected to see the Spanish beat up competitive in the one-day World Championship. But since Eduardo took their first title in Colombia, and then followed that on last year with a win by Mr. Cabrera, but then fighting the challenge today. Cabrera for me will still have to be super tight with the pace because the circuit is not a circuit for the leading riders. It's a rider that will try to 30 left towards the end. They're really Mr. Cabrera has a chance to field, but glimpse of him. There's the other Stony rider, Jan Gersenboom. Another man that the race doesn't toughen up for him there. In fact, on the race field, still looking very comfortable. Straight away to eat it off. Maybe he's just smart a different way of thinking.
I never get it down. I don't know how he tries. The skill, the feel, things that you control of this man. Nice good game. Just facing the out, but the town itself is full of narrow streets. So they're looking at the racing there. So they're on the outskirts here. Peloton, still a big one. Speed's on its way. Still working out how they're going to close the gap, because the last time out was 3.5. We've only got 7 seconds on this time, and that's an indication they're going to like that again. The goals are going to be done. So not soon, I think.
Another rider on one of the top international teams. In fact, this is the first time I've seen Lelkin racing, and he must be pretty happy to be at the front of the World Championships. A big chance for a rider like him to interest the sponsors and possibly ride into a professional squad for next season.
Well, Benetton there, he got round his first Tour de France this year. He's only a youngster. Another one of the fines, I think. Finished 7th first, but the fact was he finished. And he seemed to come here determined to establish at least an impression on the event.
Another team coming to the front now, and may well be red and white, but this time in fact it's the Danish team that decided to send 1 or 2 riders further forward. They've seen the big pressure that the poles have been put under and decided now is the time to come forward and help out in the organisation of the front of this pack. And now that we are getting another team interested, it may well be a time that the main group in front will start to get pulled back. I think about the Danish team this we did see a very impressive Sorensen a week ago and Tours. It may well be that Rolf is looking for the biggest time of his career. He's won almost every major one-day race that there is on the calendar. He's never been world champion.
This is the game of the stretch. We had quite a few at the top of the field, giving juniors and the squad, giving them an extension. And so, I think it's only nice, and they're on the front. He's a sort of elder statesman now of the Danish riders, but he's a late-term professional, and he is a strong man, so they'll welcome him at the front, and the Poles could do with a break anyway, because they're not having enough to chase at least 4.
Very difficult for them. This is the technical part of the course, and I tell you one thing, you don't want to be in 30th or 40th position right now because you're hanging right onto the wheel of the rider in front of you. There are the 4 riders who were caught in no man's land, so they're just about to get brought back into the fold. So now the race situation will be the 5 leaders with the rest of the main pack together.
That's a swoop round the roundabout, and the 4 riders rounded first on the inside track. There's the field right onto them now, so the field will soon work out. They haven't got them all if they didn't do already. And they'll assess who they've caught and who they haven't. There they are, the 2 Spanish, the Russian and the Frenchman back in the fold. There's the other Spanish one.
Well, now that the situation is happening on the road, I think we may well see Spain coming forward as well, because Oscar Freire must certainly be serious challenge for the title if they can keep a large group together. It seems for the moment as if there hasn't been too much devastation at the back of this pack. It is a very large group. The whistles and the shouts going forward now for the Poles. The Poles realising Spain now don't have any riders in the front, so they cut off the power, set up, and now I think we will see a change.
Oh, Sopa, come on.
The other boys have got no excuse now for not giving us a hand, so if they won't do it, then we'll look for either, and the reaction coming straight away from Spain. That was a good decision by the Polish riders, otherwise these boys would have attacked the ball.
Yeah, look how much bloody space I lost.
Now Spain go out on the attack.
You shit up.
Not really wanting to come to the front and organise the chase and deciding to launch a man off the front. Not a very sensible move at this stage in the game, because those riders are still more than 2.5 minutes in front, and trying to ride across a gap like that at the World Championship is basically a waste of energy.
There was a tall boy, probably comes to mind is Martin Cordero, who is on the attack here, and the riders trying to reorganise themselves to see if they can get the counter action going. And there are still 5 riders, 3 minutes and 20 seconds ahead.
is a tough course. You can actually see looking at the pavement out there as well that it's not a smooth surface here. These Breton roads, the small roads away from the main highways, are very, very rough, and they're not really rolling along as well. It's very difficult to get any kind of moving. This, in fact, looks very much like Jose Enrique Gutierrez, who's going forward. I know you do. You've always been good on the Spanish riders. You can see that was a clever move though by the Spanish. This is how he got to it. He had a teammate on his wheel, and as soon as they got to the front of the pack, he sat up and allowed this man to go clear. But I don't think he's too far off the front of the main pack right now.
Because he's in front of has two. And he has two players in the Tour de France. Only good performance. And challenges all the way. Now we've got Perez, winner of the Tour of Spain. Rumors right away. Might move across the Lance Armstrong's son.
That would be an incredible vote for the US Postal Service team. And he does still hold contract with the Kelly squad. But it's an interesting move for him to move across there. He said that he made those contacts well before the Tour of Spain. He's very interested to ride along Armstrong and learn how to ride time trials. He feels that he would be a much more improved rider riding alongside Armstrong for a couple of years.
I can't think about there, mate.
Winning the Tour de France overall. The main field coming up towards the finishing area. Still a huge pack of riders, Phil. Nobody yet has managed to break the stranglehold, and not really a very clever tactical move by the Spanish right now, because they do have a serious challenger for the win in Oscar Ferreira, and they need to get themselves pretty much organised at the front of the pack if they're going to pull that leading group of 5 back.
This man proving to be a nice little carrot here now. A nice large carrot actually. In Gutierrez. So looking down, riders trying to get away from the front of the pack. The sign writers have been busy. This is an interesting attack. The Polish riders still taking the pace, trying to keep everybody on the toes. It's a tough one. This is going to Rubinski, the Mirage rider. He's had a good day. There are 3 riders on the Mirage team made the selection for the Polish team. And I think they've got 8 men on the start line today.
Will be wearing a slightly different jersey to the rest of the team now. I'm not sure that's allowed at the World Championships. It's actually wearing the Polish National Road Racing Champions jersey. And at the World Championships, you're supposed to wear the national jersey of your country. But today,
Take my short.
decided to opt for that. He may well find himself getting a slight fine from the Union Cycliste Internationale. He's 2-time national champion of Poland, actually took the time trial championships as well.
Well, the designs are same, because the writing on the top altered it, so they might get away with that. Anyway, Oxidol Gonzalez getting away with nothing here. There's Gutierrez, rather, he's being caught. And now the Italians, this is Bettini, who are now trying to stir things up a bit. They sense it's getting time. Now, De Luca may not be too happy with this.
Nice to see. I think he just wants to pull the Spanish rider back.
Okay, it's a bit more
Right,
comfortable in the foot now.
See how everybody else was going to attack. Gutierrez looks over his shoulder, realises it's all over right now. And it's still the Polish come to the front. That is Scenic Spruck there moving forward. You can see the blue big shorts of the Lamprey squad. These 2 coming forward right now to show the team that he is there, still in the fight race. Off the front like that right now.
And that bunch is thinning out rather dramatically now. Gutierrez is showing his resistance, but now it's all over. Now the serious boys are beginning to fire. This is like being a good lap, surely. It was 3:24 last time around. And that was a 19-minute 35 lap, by the way. Surely now on lap 13, we're going to see that gap come down.
The hammer now starting to come down a little more. Everybody trying to raise the tempo in this main field. But you can always see when it's hurting, because riders looking over their shoulders to see that the gaps are appearing in the main field. And they're not right down. There's a couple of Dutch riders moving forward there. Michael Bogard is in the group, quite comfortably. Scott Sunderland halfway down the track. Looking further down the main field. A lot of these riders really are starting to suffer right now.
Yes, this is the crunch period. It always stages of a World Championship when you have to grit your teeth and hope you survive to come through the other end. And this is one of those periods now, with around 180 kilometres covered, some 80 kilometres still to race. They've got to answer the pressure being put on. It's chasing 5 survivors of 9, and the gap is coming down.
Not coming down very rapidly at the moment though, as Alexander Vinokurov comes to the front here, the rider from Kazakhstan, Olympic silver medalist, a magnificent bike rider, one of see the pressure now as people move left and right in that front of that spear, trying to be near the front but not wanting to put their noses into the wind at the moment.
Don't blame them. Back up to the front runners. Another lap can be ticked off here, reaching the 184 kilometre point. And then the clock will start and we'll see what they've got at Bosha. Switzerland, quite like this was team colours as they come through. I like the new attachment colours too. They look good doing those down at the back. These riders have been away now.
Look how far ahead the leaders are.
20 kilometres in the lead, which is some 70 miles out front. 4 hours 22 as they go out on lap 14.
6 laps remaining. Bouchard's had a pretty reasonable season. He's a young rider with 1 victory to his credit, and that was just a couple of weeks ago in the Hessen-Rundfahrt when he took out the second stage. As Austria moves to the front. There in the middle for France is
Let's take a look at these.
there on the left side with a slight problem, and that looks very much as if it's Laurent Jalabert got his arm in the air.
Well, now this is a far more serious situation for Jalabert he has. Laurent Brochard going through the camera now. He's also right at the sharp end, looking for the move perhaps. This is the area now. You must hope this knows poor old Jalabert there. They must have a flat tyre.
He has a serious problem. His hand has been up. He's looking over to see if there are any teammates around right now. And I wonder, there's the French team car right at the front of the pack, but this is not the time to have an incident because the pressure is pretty much on at the front of the pack right now. And if he finds himself off the back with a mechanical incident, he's going to have a hard time getting himself back into the race.
Letsky here drives his race on. He's going like a train. It's a bit of a performance for the crowd, I think. This is a start-finishing line, but he's going well. Brochard sprinting up on the left of our picture. Trying to join 3 men on the attack. There's the time up. My goodness me, it's come down this time. 2 minutes, 8 seconds the gap.
It's still been a very long and hard chase for him to pull back from 4.5 minutes to 2 minutes. But I do feel now that we will see the end of that leading group of 5 fairly shortly. Well, another man has climbed into the pits. This is Frédéric Pinault of France. And this is the part of the race now where we can expect more and more riders to pull away from the race. 1 minute 55 seconds is the official time on the board for the 5 riders at the front of the white race. And still, Christophe Moreau is the man really keeping the pressure on. He's the man who's got the most to gain from a situation like this, as well as Danilo De Luca.
Yeah, 2K ahead.
Must be just keeping his fingers crossed and hoping there's going to be some tactical manoeuvres in the main field behind, but that doesn't happen at the World Championships. Once you get to the critical part of the race, the hammer really does start to go down, and Brochard is the man putting the hammer down right now. He's going off the front of the pack, and you can hear the French crowd.
Fernando has won the world title in the past, facing all sorts of accusations that he may have won it on drugs. That's what's coming out for Vestiaire affair, which Brochard is very much a part of that. But right now he's trying to redeem himself here as he's trying to win clear on the field. Ideally he wants a small group with him.
Well, he's just sending the man up there, trying to get onto the tail. It looks like Nico Martin moving forward. It doesn't look like Nico Martin, one of the other Belgian riders. That's Michael Van Eyck, who's got across. He's not a rider we've seen an awful lot of on the international circuit. And I feel they're working towards they must be on the race field. And at the back of the pack we are hearing over race radio that there is a problem with Laurent Jalabert.
Well, that's a real shame. The question is, he's going to be very unlucky because the hammer has gone down right at the moment. He slid off the back of the field. And now onto lap 14 here. 185 kilometres covered for the main field. The leaders just a little bit further ahead, but not by much now. They're probably inside 2 minutes now after this flurry of attacks.
Tell you what, the hammer is really down right now. Everybody is trying to get up the front. Everybody is trying to form a counter-attack in pursuit of those 5 leaders at the moment. Their advantage has come down pretty rapidly. It was at one time 4.5 minutes. It's now well inside of 2 minutes. And the speed is obviously different in the main field. You can see the difference in the speed. These riders, Phil, now are approaching 50 kilometres an hour. And this lap, if they keep this pressure on, is going to be pretty close to the fastest so far.
The impetus is slipping just a bit as that flurry of attacks has been brought back to heel. The riders looking for who's going to move next. The lap time itself was not great, 19:35 followed by 19:41. So nothing approaching the 18:09 done when the original break went away on lap 4.
Just look what leading the next to the finishing straight there, Danilo De Luca.
Go to work now. I'm getting with the group.
Champion of Italy this year, and he likes this circuit. He said openly when he won the Grand Prix of Bue in the month of August that he'd like to come back in a couple of months' time and find himself crowned the world champion. He's a super favourite before the start of the championships, and for the moment he hasn't made a wrong move.
These three riders survived the Carnival of Rome, solid motion on the back of them. What you noticed after the record, he still got his top jersey on, he's up on top. That's something you wouldn't usually see in the World Championship with some five absolute race.
Still pretty cool for the moment there. His teammate Aldo Coutinho wears 39 in second position right up against the barriers right now. The main field slowly but surely starting to reduce in numbers, and in the last 2 or 3 laps you'll see riders disappearing from this grid. It's still pretty big though for this stage of the World Championship. 5 laps still to go to the finish, and a huge convoy of cars behind the riders. All the major nations are allowed to bring 12 riders to the World Championship, and the lesser teams are allowed to bring just 8. The defending team, which is in this instance Spain, would have been allowed to start 13 riders here at the World Championships. Milano being the 13th man, and he in fact decided to take his dummy and go home after he was beaten in the individual time trial. But it's a big advantage, and this is all decided on the rankings of the teams in the international field. UCI ranks all of the countries, and if you finish in the top 6, you're allowed to bring 12 riders to the World Championships. He's in the first 5 or 6 riders there, just off to the right-hand side. He's keeping himself off the front of the main field right now, but also as close to the front as possible in case there are any surprise attacks. Right in the middle there is Axel Merckx, jersey, just going on to the left. Now the orange jersey on right now, big strong rider Axel. He's pretty nervous right now at the moment, so we're not going to know the whereabouts of Andre's field. What a great season Axel has had. He's brought his down all the love and emotion. A great individual stage victory in the Giro d'Italia. I could not believe that he would come back after a dramatic crash. And then in the month of June he took the national championships, and it's been a long time since the Belgians have seen the name Merckx right at the top of the leaderboard. And I'll tell you one thing, they say that Eddie was actually there commentating for Belgian television, and he took the microphone away from him with about 10 kilometers to go.
Well, you know, Merckx followed by Merckx, it was a pretty sensational thing to happen. They were both big guns are firing. The big teams with those 12 starters are now showing the advantage of having so many riders on the start.
Well, good express coming forward now. Getting team tactics. It's a good field as a Spanish.
Okay, so even if the group ahead stops, I've still got 2 minutes or so to capture them. Okay, I'm going to try and do the Scenic pass from South Africa to Suffolk after this. I need to try and keep some energy in the tank.
Is also there now, centre left of our picture, and still looking pretty cool here. 54 seconds, so that wasn't a bad guess by us, was it? And they now start to close in. This is going to be a most interesting move here now.
I was right up on the right hand side. He now has to ride very close to the front of the tank. After all of the work that was done by his teammates to pull him back and the rise of the force was 4.5 minutes. You reckon looking over to see where everybody else is there is on the wheel and then further back in the light blue jersey for the Belgians. Further down the field, we get a chance to see three shots going down there, man. So back into the main field. Magnificent fight. The Belgian champion looking very seriously at a non-contender to take the win twice.
Well, he wasn't left in the race, I think now. Scott Sunderland is right up there as well. Under the attack, he's got a point to prove. Max Shanley is still going through there. There's still 2 of the 3 British riders in this race who wanted to start, by the way. It's John Tanner and Charlie McGarry, sorry, Max Shanley and Charlie McGarry are the 2 riders left in this race, and they're both up there too.
Look at that on that long green pool there, and up to the side of the orange on there. So it's very easy to hide in the main tank. He is over the top of the flying now, starting to organise himself just a little bit. Marichal in first place. Daniel De Luca's face not giving anything away right now, but I think he realises he's had his chance of glory at the World Championships. It has made it help for the Italians, but basically for these 4 riders, as the pitch gets up towards the end, they will get towards the stand out in the back.
It's still been superb now. Over 100 miles in the lead now for those 4 survivors of the 9 who escaped originally, and again the attack is now trying to take control, trying desperately now to reduce that lead. Often wonderful why Italians are chasing an Italian.
I think they realise now that the race is over, they realise that the practice, both 4 riders have been in a breakaway situation for a long time. Maybe the word has come back, but in fact, Daniel De Luca is not coming back to the field, he's not certainly going to win. The Italians feel that this is the moment they really need to pull out. This is Michele Bartoli, El Cazzo, the cat they call him. He's coming out to the front of the pack.
Okay, so I'm guessing
Barkley now trying to
the riders directly ahead
as we go into the
are all climbing now.
the event. Still, the loser up in the front, so we're not happy at all. The Italians throwing their best men at the race now to reduce that lead.
If that's
We
the
are
only reason,
inside
that's
a
not
minute.
the...
Well inside a minute now to those leaders. We say bye-bye to Pue again as we move out on these closing laps of the World Championship.
And attack the Italian third position there is Davide Rebellin. Michael Bogart is there in the orange. Not quite sure what Mikel wants to come on board. Let's get working. He looks over his shoulder to see what sort of damage is being done. Not really enough for the moment. There's still an awful lot of white riders still in contact.
I think by the looks of the snow making that break, so we're going
What's the bloody braking going off? Hell fucking hell, Ruby.
besides, Barkley is not slowing the job of everybody into action. It's a question whether you're strong enough to say no thanks.
He looks over his shoulder here. He sees that they've got the gap there. He's saying go, go, go because they have a gap, but nobody else wants to. The Belgian borders are obviously there. You can see that they're not going to work at all unless Andre Schmeel is in the front split of riders. A general regrouping once again happening in this bike race, but that was a pretty serious attack there by Michele Bartoli.
Yes, it's one of those cases I wish our cameras at the back of the race because I'm pretty sure we lost a few riders with that flurry of activity.
Absolutely. Many riders will be put under pressure there, but they need to keep this pressure on over the top. Otherwise, riders will recover. They have a slight gap over the rest of the field right now as Paolo Bettini comes forward to insist and accelerate. A lot of Mackay riders in this Italian selection, but they haven't split the main field right now. So there will be one or two riders at the back suffering, but there's still around about 60 riders in this grid.
They're all coming back together again. Seeing left to the Italian now to drive on all of the time.
It's a really Shanghai riding pretty much to the front. Very much in the autumn of his career now, Max, but still having, I reckon, a pretty good season. He was so close to getting himself a stage victory in the Giro d'Italia earlier this year. He then was selected for the Great Britain team for the Olympic Games. Here, this crunch time, riding very well to the front of the pack of the World Championships.
There's the view of the farmland around Pue. The field now work out how they can bridge a gap of some 35 seconds. It's not much more than that to the leaders. And they're all having a go now. The Swiss riders getting into the action, and this looks to me like Andre Schmeel. Now they're going to have to react to this one.
Schmeel looking very strong. He's dedicated the whole latter half of his season to this World Championship right now, and that really has caught the Italians hopping. The Italians looking over their shoulders now. They want to organise the chase at the front, but they need to chase down pretty rapidly. I can't really get an ID on the Swiss rider in there, but that is definitely Andre Schmeel. And they haven't got very much of an advantage over the pack, but they are coming now to the fairly technical part of the course, so this is a possibility to open up the gap.
Well, the field, the message will soon spread down. The Schmeel is getting a bit active now. That peloton still low, very unwieldy, quite large. She's back up to the leaders, but now it's all over with the leaders of the main field. And all of a sudden they wiped it all out. After more than 100 miles in the lead, the World Championship is again up for grabs.
First man to make the jump from there is Andre Schmeel, but the main field are not really very far behind at the moment. And over the next few laps, from every time we hit that climb up through the finishing straight in Pue, there will be attacks. They will try to force a small group of riders off the front. They're sitting up right now. This is a moment, a lull. Having caught the four leaders, everybody's trying to re-ascertain the tactics, who they need to launch forward onto the attack. But certainly Andre Schmeel there in the middle of the picture, announcing the colours. He's in form. He wants to take out the win here.
Well, he's a frisky man at this stage of any race. 2.5 laps still to go. And anybody in with a shout now, and quite unusually for the World Championships, a lot of big teams with a lot of men left at the sharp end of this race. The Italian, the Spanish, the French, the top Belgians are still there as well. This is the corner that's caught so many people off guard. It looks as though they're coming round safely again.
Still Danilo De Luca there on the front. He will, I would think, drift back a little bit. Now this is the rear of the pack. Now this is rather interesting here because the man we're looking at right now is in fact Laurent Jalabert, who's riding himself into the pits. He was having serious difficulty there before, Phil, and he's now climbing up. And right up there alongside him is Gilles Bouvard. So That's a blow for the French, and I'm sure it's very much a psychological blow for Laurent Jalabert, who doesn't have to worry of whether or not he is in contact for this season.
He wasn't quite what he had in his mind, I don't think, but there we are, that's the way it goes. And now an attack by Minnesota. I think it might be Zabert, wasn't it?
Yes, Zabert was the brother of Marcus Zabert. Very good bike rider. These two guys normally spend their season riding for the Rabobank team. Marcus Zabert does come down to a large group sprint in the end. There's another man who has a serious chance of taking out a victory. This is the move by Zabert. The Italian controlling the front of the main pack. He's decided he's going to go out. And it's always going to be on this slope up through the finishing straight towards the summit of the climb outside of Fluo.
We'll have some good days this week, but we've seen some excellent bike racing, I have to say. Now, we know what it was to see Marley Holmes win the gold medal in the time trial, beating Jenny Light. She's never beaten until this year. She beat it in the Olympics for the silver. Well,
6 kilometres to go, so Berg hasn't really got much of an advantage over the main field. But look how easy Andre Schmiel is there. He looks over his shoulder to look at the faces of the other bike riders in this event here and moves forward just to make sure that he's at the front of the pack. I think this man is on excellent form today. In about 5th or 6th position there in the multicolored jersey with the red and blue sleeves is Maximilian Chiambri. On the right in the orange is Nicol Boga. And that group now has seriously been reduced in numbers because of all those accelerations. What a crowd on Thursday.
fabulous atmosphere here as Max Chiambri got written, and he is right on the front now. He's a man for championships, won the Olympic Games 4 years ago in Atlanta, and wants to see another one going to be a man in Michael Bogart, the rider in the orange Dutch colours. There's another shoot just been called.
Chiambri started off the season very well. He was the state race in South Africa for the Global Comrade World Tour. But I think more importantly for him, he was fulfilling the request in the Tour of Lazio just before the Olympic Games. Rochard on the left-hand side, accelerating and trying to get himself in front of the pack. A big bike rider, very good for France, but still got that black cloud over his head because of his involvement with that Castina affair.
So long Rochard, you might know we've seen who at the finish now because there aren't that many of them left. Richard Long is in there somewhere, but apart from that, I don't think we've got many people left in the race.
He was discounted by Gianni Franz.
Oh, okay, it's the downhill. That's why they're getting the heads again.
Rider, Spain moves forward. One of these bike riders now fiddle the front of this Fluo circuit, a very difficult circuit. And especially when you bear in mind that we're racing in excess of 45 kilometres an hour. Philip Barkley there in 6th place. Still looking for a move, nobody yet. And it's the great smile of all over this move.
She's just struck with the ball coming back, you see. And again, that long big line, they're tapping that away on the front high now because they've got more and more confident with the riders they've got in this place. They sure they've got a player to Webb, and this is going to be the start of it now because Barkley's going again. Looks to see who's followed him. I can't see it. Might be Schmiel. I can't quite see behind him. I think it is.
Schmiel is right there. These two riders lining each other very closely. But Schmiel is riding well too there in 3rd position. The Italians still in great numbers in this group, and that's their advantage. If they see the right combination forming in the front, they can have 2 or 3 riders just sit up and let the get go.
So the big boys within the test the water now to see who is the strong man. It's a big tell of Barkley. Especially if you're going to see who's followed before he continues the pressure. So the run around the wheel, he's here, so he stopped up, and they're back in the field. I feel this is a very tenacious bunch today that hasn't really been out, and Chiambri's got control of the head.
Schmiel is looking very cool. He should be riding like this now. A low rider, and teams are more control to ride his own race. Maybe thinking about moving on to a top score. Because it's pretty funny. I'm Max Chiambri riding for Great Britain all on my own. And I'm putting you guys into the group. Philip Barkley goes again. But look at that. But right on his wheel there is Andre Schmiel.
He's looking at me now, man. He was over, I think, with Andre Schmiel just before Barkley went. Barkley thinks so this is worthy. Obviously, Andre's marking him now. So it's a free-wheel again.
It's strange as these guys are beginning to get worried about the fact they're not able to open up a breakaway situation. This is still a very large group of riders at this stage in the World Championships. And maybe the circuit here in Chile is not quite difficult enough to split the race to pieces. Schmiel now on the attack, being covered here by Spain, but there will be a major reaction behind him, certainly come from the Italians. This group very much staying together. As they get closer to the finish, Bill, I'm wondering if we might see a very large group come down to the line here, because nobody so far has been able to get very much more than 10 or 15 metres off the front of this main pack, and there's still a couple of the big teams with a large number of representatives present, which means they'll always be able to organise the chase unless exactly the right combination goes off the front. But looking down there, it's a very big pack.
It is very big, but I'm always for collaboration with the big stars like Andre Schmiel and Michele Bartoli, always willing to attack and test the water, even though there are so many riders there, having more or less a free ride towards the finish. The big names of cycling never afraid to have a go and see what happens.
Belgium's still got quite a number of representatives in the group here. Axel Merckx moving to the front of the pack right now. This is a tricky part of the course. Each time they come up to the line, they will face one lap to go to the finish.
See the rider on the front here was having a chat with his team car, where he was looking at the racing jersey, which on his microphone is. All back together again, time for the drink.
Axel Merckx in second place there. The Swiss also pretty much to the front, but Merckx sliding down to the group, probably will go and have a quick word with Andre Schmiel. Almost 38 years of age, Schmiel, and still super competitive in these one-day races. Kelly Barton, I think next time we come to the finishing straight up through Chile, will try and launch the attack again. I don't think that the climb is quite hard enough. This is Lucas Shinto on the front. The super domestique, a great friend of Maximilian Chiandri's. He will ride his heart out for the team, the Squadra Azzurra right now.
I saw Lucas Shinto win the Tour of Ancona a couple of years ago. That really was the only win I've noticed he's ever had. It was a big surprise, but he rode so well. There's the long thin line through beautiful French countryside and the west of France. As we course through Brittany now, these are wonderful roads to train on, just to cycle on. If you ever want a holiday, go to Brittany, but you'll find the roads are never flat and the hills are often short and steep.
Bordas Stangelay in fourth position, the Slovenian rider. You saw him win the Commonwealth Bank Cycle Classic last year. That's Axel Merckx there, riding pretty much to the front. And a very good Olympic road race with Axel. But I think today, really playing the card of Andre Schmiel. Schmiel in excellent condition. Swiss rider close to the front there was Mauro Gianetti wearing number 18. But it's a long, thin line, and still, I think, quite a few riders in this group, Philip, are pretty fresh legs right now.
The team is in the pace. Merckx, for us, is a man of the big day, the big event. He always rises to the occasion, and he's right there again. Sure, Father Edward will be watching this with great interest now. The Italians are playing all of their cards right now, and they're not going anywhere. Paolo Bettini sets the pace now.
Just caught a glimpse of Richard Duroc. He's around about 20th place in this group at the moment, still very much a contender for the last lap here, because it may well be we'll find ourselves with a strange break going off the front when we come up to the final ascent through Chile. Shinto deciding that as far as he's concerned, he has no hope at all of winning the event, but he does have a hope that Michele Bartoli can take the glory for Italy. Bartoli, before the start of this race, was the super favourite to take out the win. Magnificent win at the Grand Prix of Chile. Said he loved this circuit. He rode very well in the Olympic road race. He just missed out on that move when Jan always got away with his teammate Andreas Klöden. Although he chased for an awful long time with his teammate Paolo Bettini, they were never able quite to make the junction. So if they can get the world title here, that would be a super event.
Just look at the team here. Shinto sitting behind him, he drives on. Continually, doesn't even look over his shoulder at any help. Just pulls this race through, goes wide for the left-hander. Fabulous riding, never afraid to work. He's not thinking of a world title. I remember Stephen Roach doing this for Sean Kelly in Bielak in '87. End of the day, it was Roach who had to take out the title for Ireland.
I feel as if there are a few riders gone missing from that grid right now. Looking down there, I still see Brochard and Charles pretty much to the back of this pack. Very much it is. This is Axel Merckx going off the front. This is a slight attack by Axel moving forward off the front of the pack, but it looked to me as though it was Gianni Parazane moving forward.
We're climbing up the track towards the finishing line. Should hear the bell this time. And Axel Merckx has turned around the tactics a little bit by launching that attack.
Feel the pain right now, looking down there. Number 1 is still in this group as well.
The American, the Handball World Championships, he got a great deal of Italia as well. These are the survivors now. There's an awful lot of them.
Starting there, saw a left to a little bit of a gap appearing at the back of the main field. Look at the face of this man now, second in the recent Paris Tours, the winner of Tour of Flanders, Hitchin Loop. Everybody thought the race was over when this man leapt off the front, held on by fractions of a second to win.
Yes, that was a great ride. Now, Italy again launching an attack.
So Kim Scott is right in the action there in fourth position in the white jersey with a red stripe down the middle. The Italian rider on the front right now is Sergio Barbaro, who drives for the race squad normally. Another move coming out, looks like El Cacto. That looks very much like the Kelly Hartley, very low down over the front end of the machine. This may well be the move. This is the move by Michele Bartoli. Look at the reaction. Andre Schmid.
Scramble behind the Schmid. Mark Bartoli throughout this race, clearly nailed him down as the number 1 favourite along with Andre Schmid. And every time he's made him, he's cruised over that gap. He's just cruised over. Bartoli will just say, oh, off we go again. As the reaction has come from the field, this will hurt. But Michele Bartoli, in this sprinting style he has, is low on the guard. He's not so far upon this, but Schmid will not come through. I'm not sure he does.
Moving forward, Spain has decided now is the time. That looks very much like Oscar Pereira who's coming forward right now. This is the front of the main field. I don't think that Kelly Barkley will be too happy with the fact that the time the race fair came across there, but he really did have the power to open up the gap. As Scotty Sutton had gone through there in about 10th position.
He's ridden a very technical race just now as Scott Sutherland. Never been far from the front, but never been on the front. Kelly Barkley is beginning to lose his temper now. Everywhere he goes, Andre Schmid follows, but doesn't assist in the chase because Schmid is a man for the late attack. It's too early.
True Italian tempo coming through right now. Bartoli thought that was the move that was going to ride into a lone victory here at the World Championships. But how easy it was, Phil, that Andre Schmid rode across there, and that acceleration by the main field is forming a rather large group at the front. It's split into 3 groups right now, with more even further back. But they're all sweeping across the road right now, and I think it's all going to come back together once again.
Well, I have to say, there's no good throws happening in the field. That bunch will be cracked up all over the place. And then it'll be a race of 2 or 3 men. But one rider who we've consistently seen up here is the guy in the orange there, Michael Bogart. A good performance by him today during the World Cup. And I think a couple of bad seasons.
Certainly, as we saw in the main contender for high placing in the quarterfinals, he certainly hasn't been up to that over the last couple of years.
Sorry.
Still in the group, and they're working great right now. Right now, Merckx on the left-hand side. Merckx looking very good in front of that, riding the rotters around to get off the front.
So back to the front again. The team comes across, family, gap. I was in the back there after the middle flag. There's the Belgian flag now. I'm not sure they saw him go by, but they're certainly waving the white flag. And Merckx has got this little gap now. He had the legs to open it, now has got the legs to stay away. No immediate counter-attack here. Spanish were having to drive on behind. And still at this moment, it was rather how he can actually come here. Coming up to the bell now, just one lap to go of the 19 remains. Britain and America have one representative each in that rather diminishing bunch now. That's Chambly and Chandler Gray are the two riders. There's the bell. Just under 6 hours in the saddle. And a massive crowd here giving a lovely atmosphere in Fluet. And the French still out of chance. There off to the left of our picture is Richard Rochard is in here somewhere as well.
Parizane is the Italian on the front. This is a very strange situation. Parizane today riding for Italy. Normally he rides on the same team as Axel Merckx, and that is the Magnay squad. He's putting the pressure on right now, but Axel is not going to lay down arms very easily. If he could just keep this pressure on for another kilometre or so, he may well just break the back of the chase. But the Italians, Phil, are still in very strong numbers, and they will organise themselves in the front of this pack and try and pull him back.
Those of you who remember that Eddie racing as I do, then at this point in the race, if Eddie was clear, the rest of the field would have let him go, because we would have had no answer to an attack from the history of the World Championship event. Not quite the same with Sir Axel. He's not got the talent of his dad, but he's certainly got the guts, and he's always ready to have to go. And he's got a little gap now, 13 kilometres from the goal line.
One thing that anyone cannot believe is how hard the sun works. He's always amazed at the work that Axel puts in to get himself to this level of the sport. But with a name like Merckx on your shoulders, it's not an easy thing to do when he wears it and carries it with a hell of a lot of pride. I've seen him at training camp. He will get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do weight training and pull himself up before going out for a bike ride with the rest of his team.
I can't believe you've seen it, or someone must have told me. Never been in such a Oh, great for Axel. It's almost over here. It's the Spanish who've done the damage. And let's not forget that Oscar Freire is still in there. The man who won the title last year as a surprise. Now a totally changed man 12 months on. And the team still working for him. 12.5 kilometres to go.
Great move, great attack by Axel. Absolutely stayed. We really believe that they've got the win. And then that's because Oscar Freire is still on the street here. He is one of the fastest sprinters on the block so far this season. The green jersey there moving forward into about 10th place is the Slovenian rider Goran Stanislav, and another attack coming off the front of the main field. Again, this looks like Italy on the attack, trying to split this race into pieces and Axel slipping further back. This is Davide Rebellin on the front. Even Rebellin today, Phil, has decided that he too will work for the team leader of the Squadra Azzurra, the Italian team today, Michele Bartoli. This is what it looks like from the back of the pack. This is the place you do not want to be.
Rebellin in the race, the consolation prize in the Woodland Pride here in the game. He's put Mazzoni in, and he's got good form as Darren Rebellin, and he's working very hard now at the front of this race. There he is. The crowd are going beside themselves. There's Scott Sutton in that white jersey. Now that would be a turn of the
Yeah, let me catch him up.
Considering the role that I believe the Scottish have in the career that he's had, they have had so many ups and downs. He nearly lost his life in a dramatic crash where he was run over by the team car on Case 3 and strangled up with his team manager from the previous season. At the back of the pack, though, France not really looking all that good in a race that's on their own territory. And we look at their Jean-Cyril Robin, who was a former medalist for the World Championship just 12 months ago.
He was. We've got Switzerland driving up front. These are now the final selection of this year's World Championship. They're off to a slow start. They're now the breakaway of nine to run for most of the race. And now the real stars of the race have thrown everything they've got into the attacks, and they've been monitored and marshalled and put back in the
Sixth position there is Oscar Freire. He must be feeling pretty confident right now. The outgoing world world champion, is just hoping that this group will stay together because he is the sprinter of the group. The others, I think, have got to try and slip away from this event because he is another attack. Schmiel, again, this man will not give up. Been reproached so many times in his career as being a follower, but he's certainly not doing that now.
I was about to say, we're a betting person who likes a flutter, go out and guess which kilometre Snow will attack, and he's done it already. This is a huge effort. He's gone early for my money because he's gone with about 11 kilometres to go here. He's got the hills still to come. It might be a good psychological time though because they may think he's gone too early.
Well, that's what he said to a blinders if you know when he rode up the front. There's nobody's going to attack that far from the end. The front of a large group did that and held a 10-15 second advantage all the way down to the finish. He now has around about 4 or 5 second advantage, but the pressure is on in that main field. It's a big long line, and I would say if we got down there a little closer, we'd see a Spanish jersey on the front.
Well, you know, Andre Schmiel has made no secret of the fact he was trained for this. He turned it back on the Olympic Games to ride the World Championship. He still had the target of the World Cup, which is Denman Holder, the Scenic. Look at our playback here. Spanish riders all looking at him, but not having the legs to reach him. Now they're trying to settle in here with a bit of work being done by Beltran.
Serious names we're used to hearing at races like the Tour de France and the World Cup and Spain and Spain. They were so organised. They still have a large number of riders. Three Spanish drivers moving to the front right now for the organised watching. They want to pull Andre Schmiel back into the fold because they will then try to set up a victory for Austria. This though is an incredible move by Andre Schmiel, approaching 38 years of age. He's still got the guts and determination to go out and race. His excuse for that is that he turned professional very late in life. He was a member of the Soviet Union team that went all over the world in the days of amateurs and professionals. He turned professional very late on in life, but still had the thrill and the drive to go out on the attack. You know what? I think he made one of the different rides.
Well, the best ever position in the world champion is 6th. He got that a long time ago, 7 days ago in fact. He's been a man on this side of their races. Those that bring a couple of years that can go on this week, but nevertheless he accelerating way down. This is a big move now on the Schmiel. He's seen his teammate try and fail. Now he's committed himself to the action here. There's not a long way to go, but it is still long if you're holding off the best in the world.
Still hovering around about 100 metres down here. It doesn't seem like very far, but for the moment they're having a hard time nailing down that gap. The Spanish team are the ones who've taken the responsibility on the front of the pack. Kelly Barty has not been able to get off the front of this group, so I think they've decided to lay down arms for the moment and wait till they get very close to the finish. But Spain are in the driving seat right now. In the middle of that pack is Oscar Freire, and there on the far side is the Italian Barrier. This midfield is really going from this do or die effort right now. We have not got a second chance.
This could well turn out to be a massive sprint for the world title. Italy shutting down now, followed by Axel Merckx. They're all back together again now. The Spanish rider, there is a Spanish rider by the way, so Gugliera, number 10. And now Belgium launches another attack. And what a right here.
Still all the riders in this group are trying to see the balance and riding on the man out there. Because it is got to be right now. And throw it over to you for a time. I think it's back to second line group. Down towards the finish line at the end of the World Championships.
So back to the much like that.
Absolutely magnificent. Marcel Strauss is the Swiss rider on the back of the main field there, but really with the active all at the front. Almost spectacular as the rider to the green jersey, the Slovenian rider, with the full organisation on the front of the back, and earlier on in the white jersey of Spain. Leading wide as fast as they can down into the finishing Italian flag.
To launch the attack that will decide this championship on this long drag now because it's nearly over. And here comes the attack again.
Sergio Barbaro has gone. It's strange to see an attack like that because I would have expected him to try to have to sprint for the rest. And as the Italians fall over the front of the main field, they really need to shut it down right now. If this man walks away with it, it will be a surprise victory.
It will be a surprise, but not a bad world champion. Sergio, his face is saying he won't keep away though, but he might. There's no one counter-attack behind. I'm not sure why the Italians are chasing each other here.
Can't believe that. The advantage that Barbaro had there. Now he's become Michael Boga going down the far side. He's got a Belgian on his wheel. It looks as if it may well still be Andre Schmeel, but they're all queuing up there down the right-hand side.
Team captains sometimes can't accept they have to become lieutenants. Because there's no doubt there that he should have given Barbaro his chance. Barbaro has blown it now, he's dropped down. Michael Bogard is launching another attack here. Chris Spears in second place. That looks like Oscar Freire has got himself up to third.
Absolutely, third place for Freire. The white jersey there is Scott Sunderland riding a magnificent finale of the World Championships. Michele Martelli is in fifth position right now, and the sprint is certainly going to open up quite soon. The gaps are starting to appear at the back of the field, but it's still hard to say who's going to take out the win.
Having a Rimini with the glasses on is also there as well now. Bogard winning his team, but he looks as though he's losing ground. Scott Sutherland still looking very cool. And this looks like it's Chris Spears here, still taking the pace. There is waiting and waiting and waiting. He doesn't want to go yet.
His team forward back there, all those attacks, the final attack on Henry Schmeel, who is still right in the middle there. Schmeel at the moment in around about fifth place, all over It will have to be Spain, but they've got no more riders left.
This is maximum effort now for Francesco Casagrande, who lost his year d'Italia in the final time trial. He'll have to live with that one, but now he's trying to make amends with the World Championship. He's over the top of this little climb. He's got his highest gear going, but that field has not given up. I reckon we're looking at 20 to 25 riders here, hunting down Casagrande.
Casagrande's got to do or die now. He's got to dig as deep as he can. His whole body, Phil, is going to be screaming right now as he tries to get himself right off the front. He daren't look over because he knows that that main field is a little bit further back down the road than he is, but soon they will start to organise themselves. This is how he went. In fact, there was a rider from Switzerland tried to get onto his wheel there, but he opened up the gap very smartly indeed. He timed it to perfection. And you know, now they must organise themselves if they're going to pull him back, because this may well be the super comeback that this man has been looking for.
Well, that was either Nicky Eversole or Oscar Camazin, and perhaps if he had gone onto the back wheel of Casagrande, then they might have flown straight away. But as it is, the reaction is coming now all of the time. This field is closing back down. That's Schmill now trying to end it. Bogert looks over his shoulder at the same time, saying, "It's not me, I'm looking for somebody else."
Well, that acceleration by Schmiel has brought it back just that little bit closer. But every time they slow down like this, it will give the advantage to Francesco Casagrande. If they don't get him by the last kilometre, this man is going to fly to a World Championships. It is still, though, a huge group. Coming to the front of that group is Maximilian Chianri. Chianri should not be doing that right now. He should sit in the pack and wait for the chance to try and get the win.
Absolutely, Max is on his own, let's not forget. I think it's about 23 riders, I quickly counted in the helicopter there. As Casagrande trying to hang on, but the field has still time. It's a long straight run into the finish yet. We'll flick right again shortly. Casagrande, though, is a rider now who's going to have to be totally committed. There is no way now, if he gets caught, he'll win the world title. It's win alone or win nothing.
Oh, the pain, it really does hurt now. Every pedal stroke takes him slightly closer to that World Championship, the title. He's looking over his shoulder, and that's a sign of no confidence at all. He mustn't do that. He must completely concentrate. But you know what? They're right there. The work on the front is coming from Axel Merckx.
Yes, I think he just took that second look back and thought, that's it, it's not going to work. It's about time Andre Schmiel took another dig for the finish. He won't want to leave it to the sprint. And so Casagrande looked like a winning move. Is now back into the fold, but the group is down to about 22 riders.
1 kilometre to go. Somebody else has nicked off the front there. I didn't get an idea on that rider, but there's another lone leader. It's not Francesco Casagrande anymore. And you know they're going to have to react pretty smartly, because inside the last kilometre, that's a dangerous time to move.
It looks like it might be the colours of a Swiss rider. Oh no, it's not. It's a Belgian rider, Chris Peers, isn't it?
Schmiel. Schmiel it is. Schmiel is gone. I don't believe it. David Rebellin is the Italian coming across, trying to make contact. Schmiel going over the top of the work done there by Axel Merckx. And what a performance by this man. He's coming up to the finishing straight very smartly now. Rebellin is in second position, but